Indeed. What the... Who is this trespasser? Any word as to our arrangement? How may I be of service, sir? How may I be of service, madam? I wanted Mr. Gunderson out of the way, not slaughtered in my hotel. Our business is concluded. Good day. You double-crossing snake. I have nothing to say to someone so lowly and ill-mannered. Ah, you're back. You're always a welcome guest here. You've done enough. Mark my words, I'll have you filleted for this. What the devil? Good day. Fellow members of the White Glove Society, bon appetit. I know I'm not the scheduled speaker, but I have a few words, if I may. Surely that you are all guilty warrants not only universal amnesty, but also a renewed discussion. For our society to be truly elite, we must dine on the most delicious, the most exclusive food known to us. And tonight, for the first time as a society, you are sampling that very dish, the meat we are forbidden to taste, the way it was meant to be eaten. There was a time not so long ago when we were bound together not as members, but as family, as a clan. And when Mr. House came to us with his proposal, we accepted, knowing we stood to gain much. Little did we know how much we'd lose in the process. As a society, we've endeavored to sample the finest food and drink the world has to offer, but we are living a lie. There is a meat sweeter than the most corn-fed livestock. Most of you have tasted it. All of you have coveted it. Among us, it is a crime to discuss a return to the old ways that unified our people. Tonight, that all changes. The taboo ends. Let me finish, Marjorie. You don't know it yet, but you are all now guilty of a greater crime, one that ordinarily bears the harshest of punishments. You'll have to look elsewhere, I'm afraid. The whole idea of joining the White Glove Society is pure hogwash. You're either in it or you're not. There's no joining. This honorary member nonsense is just something Marjorie contrived because she's so preoccupied with image. But it's only a fad. Once it blows over, the riffraff we've temporarily inducted will be shown the door. So I wouldn't hold out hope if I were you. Looking to elevate his social status, is he? I'll admit, I could see benefits to living under his rule, certain transgressions he'd be willing to overlook. But that's neither here nor there, I'm afraid. Marjorie won't have it, as long as she fails to see the wisdom of my perspective. Kidnapped? That's ridiculous. And who said anything about eating anyone? I know I didn't, because I hadn't gotten to that line of my speech yet. What remarkable timing you have. What are you... Why is he there? Who are we eating right now? So be it. But we are all cannibals here. My death will be a constant reminder, and someday you will all remember. No! These are lies. I never kidnapped anyone. And even if I did, there's no harm done. He's alive, after all. You're all hypocrites. How can you claim to be connoisseurs yet deny yourselves the greatest of all meats? I am ashamed to have once called everyone here family. This isn't over, though. I'll begin anew. The White Glove Society will never achieve the greatness of my new order. You'll all hear from me again. Get them! Get him! Get her! My, such a popular question. I suppose it is only natural to see us and wonder what it is that makes us special. The White Glove Society has only just made itself known to the public, of course, but our pedigree was established over generations. Were we always so refined? I'd be lying if I said yes. But I've always felt we were destined for a place atop modern society. And now, here we are. Not everyone can wear the finest clothes and eat the finest foods, obviously. That's just the reality we live in. But surely we can agree that the most tasteful, sophisticated people are the most deserving. And that's what the White Glove Society is all about. If you head back to the hotel rooms, his will be one floor directly above you after you exit the lobby. Good. And you know what it is to be discreet in matters of nutrition. Perhaps you can help me. You barbarous cur. Yes, the wrong person. We scouted the right one for weeks. The heir to a mercantile empire. Sort of a black sheep. He cut ties with his family and left their estate to wander. He was ideal, corn-fed and well-to-do, but no one to miss him if he were to disappear. Unfortunately, the trap my subordinates set for him failed, and as he escaped, he saw their faces. Now he's wary. Splendid, splendid. The boy is being held in the kitchen beneath the gourmand. Here are some keys that will allow you access to him. The elder Gunderson is staying in our penthouse. I understand he's hired security, so be careful if you go up there. And our Mr. St. Clair resides to the north. He rarely strays far from his house, and he's surrounded it with booby traps. Indeed, let's. I asked for a last-minute replacement, and they stole the son of the most dangerous Brahmin baron in New Vegas while he stayed at this very hotel. Needless to say, this could be a disaster if things aren't put back the way they should be. And I still need somebody reputable to serve for dinner. Strictly speaking, we're no longer allowed to eat people, but I'm hoping the right person and preparation might sway Marjorie to see things my way. Ted Gunderson is his name. It would be simplest if we could convince him this was all an unfortunate misunderstanding. But if he won't listen, we can't very well let him go. He'll have to be slaughtered and served. Then we wouldn't need the replacement. But you would need to deal with his father, heck. Perhaps if you could smear some of Ted's blood around his father's hotel room, you could frame him. Please, you're embarrassing yourself. I must request that you change the subject. No, not from the likes of you, I'm afraid. I don't think you'd have the stomach for it. Better look elsewhere. I do, but I need someone I know I can rely on, and I haven't heard a thing about you. Perhaps if you made more of a name for yourself around the Strip, we could talk, but not before. Yes, I'm glad you asked. I've heard about you, you know. You strike me as just the sort of person who can help me. I'm in a bind. I've been planning an exquisite society dinner, but there's a bit of a problem with the main course. He's got a powerful and temperamental father. I need a replacement, and I need the boy taken care of. The replacement must be healthy and well-bred. One can't very well make steak from gristle. With so little time, we'll have to go after our original choice, Carlisle St. Clair. He lives in a shack north of here. For freshness, we need him alive. If you could send him here or knock him out with this and drag him into the dumpster next to his house, we can do the rest. I can assure you that the only thing the White Glove Society is guilty of is preparing the tastiest cuisine you'll ever sample. That is, of course, if you can afford it. Very well, but I'll need to know soon or I'll be forced to make other plans. Which one? He's a little thin, but he looks like he comes from good stock with that strong jaw and upright posture. Perhaps a little rugged, a little gamey, but he's in good shape and looks healthy. From the smell of her, I'd say we can skip the whiskey marinade. But other than her liver, she seems to be in working order. Her skin has a certain supple quality to it, doesn't it? She's kept it well. How mouth-watering. I'm sorry, but it absolutely must be a human. Former doesn't count. I assume you're joking. Very well. If you're able to convince young Mr. Gunderson to return to his father, replace him in the freezer with your friend and we'll have a deal. Ah, yes. I've heard that one too. Jealous people say such nasty things. I feel sorry for them. Perhaps I do. Forget I mentioned it. Good. And you know what it is to be discreet in matters of nutrition. Perhaps you can help me. Good. I hope that young man gets some closure after all he's been through. Of course, of course. Now, ordinarily, we don't give out guest information, but I think given the circumstances, he'll want to speak with you. Let's see. He hasn't checked out yet. If you head back to the hotel rooms, his will be one floor directly above you after you exit the lobby. I hope we can put this whole matter to rest at last. You are? Nothing so grim as his investigation, I hope. Private investigator. Ah, yes, I remember the gentleman. This was about the missing bride. Such an awful thing. I do hope he finds her whereabouts. If I might pry, have you found something that will help his investigation? I see. Keep me in the know. We'll know after tonight's banquet at 7 o'clock. I'll only be telling everyone what they've eaten after they've eaten it. That way, they will all have crossed the same silly taboo. They'll have to reconsider it. Even Marjorie. It's all image with her anyway. She just needs to realize the only difference between savage and sophisticated is the proper seasoning. We'll know after tomorrow night's banquet at 7 o'clock. I'll only be telling everyone what they've eaten after they've eaten it. That way, they will all have crossed the same silly taboo. They'll have to reconsider it. even Marjorie. It's all image with her anyway. She just needs to realize the only difference between savage and sophisticated is the proper seasoning. I certainly did. Philippe created an extraordinary amuse-bouche from the flesh of the Gunderson boy. I certainly did. Philippe created an extraordinary amuse-bouche from the flesh of the late Mr. St. Clair. I certainly did. Philippe created an extraordinary amuse-bouche from the flesh of your former travel partner. So the Baron has slaughtered his last Brahmin. How delightful. He was a pox on our business. He would have driven the price of beef down to the point where any poor wretch could afford it. Can you imagine? But now we can price it even higher, create a new luxury market. Not for you, of course. You'll get a special discount. No, everyone he meets he tells the same story, that his son disappeared from the casino, not from his room. He'll look guilty. I see. Well, this could get out of hand very quickly unless something is done to keep the elder Gunderson in check. You mustn't kill him, though. The publicity would be a disaster. I need you to handle this quietly, like we discussed. A little blood in his suite should do the trick. And if you have a Securitron arrest him, our involvement will appear non-existent.